What up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino. Busting in on y'all on a Sunday. Busting in on a Sunday. I saw something today that made me want to do this topic. And I'll wait for a few of y'all to slide in before I tackle it. Before I tackle it, I'll wait to see how many people want to join us tonight. But I think this is a good question. I'm sorry, I was distracted a little bit. I think this is a good question that I'm asking y'all, man, because I think that at some point in everybody's life, no matter what it is that you do, we all are going to reach that point where the question becomes whether we ask it of ourselves or whether other people are posing it and putting it out there. Is it time? Time to do what? Is it time to wrap it up? Is it time to stop? To give it up? I was watching, I see you, Doyle, I see you, Matt, I see you, KS. I was watching an interview that Venus Williams was doing, the great tennis player Venus Williams, the all-time great. And a reporter asked her a question about basically leaning towards asking her about retirement. That's what the gist of it was. Now, anybody that knows, Venus has been playing tennis for, she's 43 years old. Let's just go ahead and put it out there. And she's been playing since she was a teenager. I mean, professionally, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, she's been playing professional tennis since she was a teenager. So she's been in the game a long time. And of course, when you play anything, any sport for a long time, you are not going to be as dominant as you were in your prime years. That's no shame in that, nothing wrong with that. You lose a step, you lose whatever. So the reporter asked a question, and rightfully so. I wouldn't say she took offense to it, but I would say that I don't think she appreciated the question. But since she's so classy, she's so professional, that even in scolding the reporter, she still did it with a smile on her face. And she just told him, she said, hey, well, if I was thinking about shutting it down, I wouldn't tell you. And I think you know that. So maybe her and that reporter have a history. I don't know what the science behind that is. But it begged the question to me. And I thought about y'all. I was like, you know what? Would you let somebody force you out of doing something that you love to do? Even if you may not be doing it on the highest level that you used to do it on, but you still love to do it. Now, sports are one of the main things that come to mind when you have these kind of conversations, but I want y'all to understand this right now, and I'm talking to you. Yeah, you right there. What happens is there are all kinds of things in life where people on the outside will assess your performance and make a determination on whether or not you should still be able to participate. Now, if you play football, basketball, baseball, hey man, you can't run as fast, jump as high anymore. Okay, we get it. Sometimes, man, this is a competitive thing. Young people are coming in every day. It's a team sport. Hey man, we can't afford to keep you around. We have to replace you. And sooner or later, your lack of the ability to compete on those levels may cause an organization to say, hey, man, we just can't keep bringing you back. And finally, you'll either get released and nobody ever picks you up again, or you'll just say, you know what, I guess it is time. I'm going to lay it down. I'm retiring. I'm officially announced my retirement. Tennis is a little different because tennis, the two individual sports that come to my mind are tennis and boxing. Boxing, you have to have people to say, hey, man, please, man, you got to stop, bro. Because boxing, every time you step in a boxing ring, you run the potential of you losing your life, even if you in your prime. You could be great, and if somebody just catch you right that night, you don't know. But when you get older and your reflexes are gone, you're no longer able to dodge and slip punches, your hand speed is not what it used to be. You have years of wear and tear on you, and you fighting young upcoming boxers, and they trying to make their name, and they got to protect themselves too. Then it becomes dangerous. So people around you in that situation, hey man, sometimes people have to save you from yourself. Tennis is a little different. You know, you ain't fighting nobody, you ain't getting hit in the head. You just, you playing tennis. So even if somebody's not able to compete like they used to, or they may lose in certain situations, or they don't win as much as they used to, hey man, if they want to keep playing, they love the game, who am I or anybody else to act like it's wrong? If you want to play, play. And I think that in that situation, whenever the time comes, the person will say, or they'll know it, and they'll say, oh man, you know what? And I know what y'all thinking sometimes, but man, well, man, sometimes, man, you love the athlete, they stay too long, man. It's just embarrassing, man. You don't want to see them. Like, I don't want to remember my favorite basketball player like that. I don't want to remember him can't even jump and missing by himself layups, and every time he shoot, they blocking his shot out of bounds, and they dunking on him, he falling on the floor. He can't. I don't want to remember him like that. And I understand that because I feel like that too. I selfishly have those thoughts. It's like, oh man, it's time for my boy to wrap it up, man. Oh man, oh that was bad. But sports is such a different type of profession as it relates to retirement, because it is the only profession where the people who participate in it professionally retire at 30, 35, and in extreme cases, 40 years old. So you're retiring because you are no longer in the prime of your athletic career, but you were retiring at a point where you were in the prime of your life, your actual life, right? So that's tough because a lot of these athletes, they love the atmosphere. They love the crowd. They love the being on that big stage and coming out on that field and everybody cheering and the fans and the money. You miss all that. So I get it. But what is the line where somebody gotta say, man, come on, man. I always look at a couple of things. I look at like, you got a guy, he's 38 years old, can't do it like he used to do it at all. He just looks bad out there, man. And you say, well, man, you got $200-300 million. You made $200-300 million. You played on the highest level. You accomplished some great things, man. That's why it's very important to have something to do after you retire that fulfills you, maybe not as much, but gives you enough satisfaction for the next phase of your life. It's not like working a regular job where, you work on that job for 25, 30 years, 40 years, and then you finally retire and now you 65 and you really don't have much time left according to the life expectancy statistics. So it's weird because normally the person who's worked that long, in most cases, they don't want to work no more nowhere. They glad to retire. But the person who may be in sports and athletics, they haven't worked that long at all, maybe 10, 12 years. And now because you're young. So it's tough, man. But I believe that there are ways to transition out of the active professional side of a thing, a sport, but still be involved in it. That's why a lot of players, they become coaches. A lot of them become analysts. They still are involved in the game in some kind of way. And while it may not give them the same gratification or satisfaction as playing, you're still involved in the game. Now, for years, there has been an argument, a debate, a conversation as it relates to rap music about rappers being too old to rap. When is the age where rappers are too old to rap? You should stop rapping when you turn 30, and all these different things that people have said and say. And normally those things come out of the mouths of young people, young rappers, but not all the time. Sometimes those things come out of the mouths of older people who have just fixed their minds to say, hey man, look at me now. I'm 42 and I used to do music, but I outgrew that and now I'm working for Coca-Cola or something or whatever. But the point is, as long as your ability is intact, there should never be an age limit for anybody in anything, in any field, anywhere in the world. If you are able to do it on a high level or a competitive enough level, you should have a place. I don't know who made up the rapper age limit rule, but it's always been a conversation that's been like really, really comical and funny to me. Because if you don't, and I say this all the time, if you're not able to see the artist before you hear them, or if you're not able to see them while you're hearing them, like watching a video or something, usually that's when you're going to give the most honest assessment of the artist, because all you have to go by is what you are hearing at the time. You have no visual to judge. So if you're watching a video, this guy walks out and he's 62, and he's clearly an old guy, and he walks up and grabs the mic, and you may already prejudge and say, oh, what this old dude finna do, man. And in some cases, you know, he might shock you, start speaking. School, nice, old school, nice. For people who are honest and to give credit where credit is due. But there are some people that it wouldn't matter what he's saying. They won't even give him a fair and honest props. They won't even give him fair and honest props because they've already looked at him and say, there's an old dude out there, man. Meanwhile, a young dude will come out there and he's 19, 20, he's the prime of his life. And he may or may not spit some of the most boo-boo-licious, trashiest rap you've ever heard. But because he's young and new, you hollering and screaming. See, when it comes to rap music, whackness has no age to it. Whackness is not confined to any age, just like greatness is not. Because you could be great at 19, you could be great at 49. But the world has shaped the minds of so many of us into adopting this theory, well, not theory, adopting this way of thinking that says that at a certain point, we got to put certain people out to pasture. I just don't believe in that. If you love doing it and it doesn't become a danger to you, like I said, like boxing or something, there's some exceptions, man. You know, I wouldn't want to see George Foreman try to fight right now. Even when George came back, they were saying, well, he's old. He was old by boxing standard. But when George came back at 38, 39, 40, you're still a young man. And if you don't have a lot of wear and tear, haven't taken a lot of hits to the head in your other years, and he became the world champion again. But I wouldn't want to see some 65, 70-year-old guy in the ring fighting Tyson Fury. Nah. Even Floyd Mayweather, he orchestrated his career, the end of his career, to where now he just does exhibitions. And they are safe exhibitions, meaning that, okay, you know what, I'm not finna get in there with these younger guys, man. I'm 40-some years old. I'm in good shape. I'm in really great shape for that age, but I'm not trying to be down there messing with these young horses down here. So in order to stay active in the game that he loves to do, he still likes to get in there, still likes to crowd. He just does exhibitions. And I think that's a smart, cool way to still do what you love, you know, make easy money, but not run the risk of hurting yourself or hurting your legacy. But this happens to people on regular jobs. How many times have you heard about somebody who been with a company so long and the company's trying to force them out of the spot, out of the position, and the person ain't ready to retire, they love their job, they ready to keep working, but the company is steady, they trying to offer them a package. Man, we appreciate everything you've done, and you know, and they're like, I'm good, man. I don't mind. I love my job. Then sooner or later they say, look, man, hey man, you gotta go. So after my monologue, my question to y'all is, what do y'all think about what I've said so far? And would you let somebody convince you to stop doing what you love? Because sometimes people will begrudgingly accept and go, all right, man, I guess I'll go on and retire, let y'all have it. You know, they don't want to stop. It could be your own children. Come on, daddy, you don't have to do this no more, daddy. And daddy like, man, I'm good, but you know what? Since y'all keep harassing me about it. What up, South? I appreciate the love. I said yesterday I failed to send a super chat. I appreciate the love, man. Appreciate your love, Jimi Hendrix. Thank you so much. And I appreciate Bryson. What's going on, man? Salute to all of y'all. Thank y'all for the love and donations. But what do y'all think about that? Is that cool? Is it situational? Because I named a couple of scenarios, you know. Number one, it's so hard for a lot of people to even find out what their purpose is and what they love to do in the first place. It's hard for a lot of people. Some people, they never find out what their purpose is, and they just are going through life, just going through the motions, and they're not really happy. They're working on a job. They don't have a career. They have a job, and they hate that job because you're working for somebody else. You're not making no real money, and just. But so when you do find your purpose in life, man, it's like, and somebody tries to make you stop. And see, it may not even be centered around a career or an occupation. It might not be centered around it. It may be centered around a lifestyle, a freedom, meaning that I used to have a neighbor, right? He lived directly across the street from me. And when I first met him, when I first moved over there, he was like 92 years old. It's like 92 years old. He had just lost his wife 2 years back, but he was still staying on his own, still driving his truck, still going outside, working on his yard, tending to his house. But then one day I stopped seeing him. And I hadn't seen him for a while. I was like, man, I wonder where he is. And I found out that his children had came and got him to come live with them. Now, I don't know if they got him to come live with them because, you know, he may have got sick or something. And they said, well, come on. Or if they were just like, hey, you know, you be over here by yourself. I'm concerned about you. Come live with us. But whatever the case was, in about a year or so, he had passed away. And I can't say what the reason was, but it just made me think about how there are times where even the older person who's on their own, living on their own, they are happy and content and free because they have a purpose. They get up, go to the coffee shop, come home, pick up crap out the yard. You know, it might be light work, but it's something that makes them get up every day. But the second they lose that, oh, daddy, come live with us. You don't have to do nothing. You take them out of that environment of freedom, that environment of just them, that independence and that happiness and whatever they were doing. And now you kind of put them in a controlled type of situation where you feel like, hey, you know, I'm doing them a favor. I want to be comfortable. But in his mind or in mama's mind, she's like, I like being where I was because I could go sit on the step with my friends that live in the neighborhood. We can talk, the other older people, we can talk, and they just lose that drive after that. And you don't mean no harm. You mean well. You want them close to you. Now, in a case where they were sick or they just proved and shown that they can't be by themselves, falling down and all that, okay, I get that. Hey, man, but if mom and dad and grandma, they functioning, still driving around, still, if they functioning, man, they're not in no kind of danger. You gotta let them be happy, man. That's just my opinion. You gotta let them live their life and be happy. Appreciate the love again, Bryson. I'm trying to be the best I can be, man. Appreciate the love to you, Lester Smith. Lester always showing love. So I'm gonna go in here early and see what y'all saying about this. Because you don't know what people are going through. We don't know what makes people happy. And the thing is, the love and appreciation of a thing that we all know the saying that you don't miss something until it's gone, right? So we take certain things for granted that we have access to at all times. And then all of a sudden, one day we don't have access to those things. It magnifies the understanding of how, oh man, see? Let me read what y'all got to say. The Batwing Queen is in the building. Help enhance animal rescue. Present tense me, hell no. Never again. Sadly, I did in my past allow others to stop me from a lot I love to do. And we're speaking of many things. In life, y'all better not ever do that. And also because windows of opportunity are a real thing. There are certain things that you wanted to do when you was 25. And if you let somebody stop you from doing it, talk you out of doing it, convince you that it was a bad idea, or even if it's you that doubted yourself and convinced and talked yourself. It's not always somebody on the outside that's discouraging you. Sometimes it's your own internal lack of belief in yourself and faith in God and yourself that makes you say, I ain't gonna try. But the window of opportunity closes. So now, when you do come into your manhood, when you do come into your womanhood, when you do cross over that threshold to where you're at a point where it's like, man, I'm fully immersed in myself to know I'm not gonna let nobody talk me out of that. Sometimes it's too late to go back and get that. Sometimes it's not. You know, you see people like, man, I didn't go to school because such said I wouldn't make it nowhere in school, so I just didn't go. Now you're 50, and hey, go to school. If you can go, go. That's what you want to do. So you said in your younger days, you know, sometimes we got to grow into ourselves. See? Trying to find some comments. Trying to find some comments. Deity Rocks, thank you for staying on subject. There is no too old. Oscar Peterson, James Brown, the freaking Rolling Stones. Yeah, you know, from a music standpoint, that have always been a thing. Well, rap, they don't do that in no other genre now. We don't have to worry about that in R&B, rock and roll, jazz, blues, reggae. Only in rap does age become something that is viewed as being shameful. Especially if, let me give you an example. Like y'all know me, I've been doing this 40 years. I've been rapping 40 years, man. 40 years, bro. Think about that. That means that a lot of y'all are old. But it's been a continual. It's just been continual. Started rapping, 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 rapping. So I like grew. I like rapped. I rapped my way into 40 years. I rapped my way into what they would call old age as an artist, right? And people would still say, well, man, nah, it's too old. You should have been stopped. Should have stopped 20 years ago. But I've seen people try to berate people and talk down on people who may have started their rap at 33. You better not wait till you're 33 years old and start trying to rap. Why not? Go for it. That's just too old. Why is it too old to rap? But it's not too old to be architect. It's not too old to, like I say, go back to college. It's not too old to start your own business up and this and that. Why is it too old to rap? I think I kind of got a halfway understanding why people might say that, because people look at the music industry and they'll say, well, man, you think you're gonna blow up and make it as a rap artist at 36 years old? You just starting? So that's the angle. But his intention may not be to blow up, to so-called make it. That may not be his intention. But even if it is, hey man, let him work it out. If he's paying his bills and he's taking care of any responsibilities that he in his life, any priorities, if he's not neglecting any priorities in his life or her life, go for it. I wouldn't want anybody around me that was always trying to uh, defecate on my dreams. Got to put a diaper on my dreams. My dreams got boo-boo all on them. Why would you try to defecate on somebody's dreams, man? I wouldn't want anybody around me like that. Now, the problem is there's a thin line between someone trying to discourage you from chasing your dreams and someone trying to advise you properly about something that just is totally like, come on, man. So music being one thing, well, I would say, well, hey, man, if you feel like you want to do this music, you go ahead and do it. I don't care if you're 42 and you're just starting. Hey, if you feel like you want to do it. But if you tell me at 42 you want to go and, like I say, try out for the Lakers, I still wouldn't tell you not to do it. But I might say, well, man, it's gonna be tough, man, because these young boys are gonna be flying up and down that court, man, and we live in this you a hater society. Everything that people don't agree with makes them a hater. That's the world that we live in. Appreciate the love again, Bryson. Love never gets old. Yoli, 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 yoli. Keep it rolling. What's up, Yoli? Yoli say the grind don't stop. I cannot be the one and only Yoli if I do not keep it rolling. That's right. We must stay focused on the mission. And I learned that from God, you, and the Blankster. Aloha from Hawaii. Much love to all the people in Hawaii out there in Maui going through the crisis out there. But yeah, that's reality, man. I mean, You know how people say follow your first mind? I don't 100% always feel like that's the best thing to do, because sometimes your first mind will give you some bad advice to follow. But sometimes the first mind and the first gut feeling is the one you need to move on. And it's hard to explain how to distinguish the difference between the good first thought and the one that ain't. But it's certain things, speaking from my own experience, that hit a little stronger, and they have more of a forceful presence in my mind when it hits me, and I'm like, okay, this is something I need to do. This is something I need to. Any of y'all ever felt like that before? It's something I need to do, man. It just keep picking at me, man. Because sometimes we'll brush it off like, nah. Especially if it's an idea that you, like I said earlier, you might doubt in yourself, like, man, that ain't gonna work. And it come again, like, you're like, man, it just keep bothering me. I think that's the way to kind of determine. And a lot of times we live in a world, I ain't gonna say a lot, we actually live in a world, and we are people, me, you, and the majority of people, we are people who lock into the concept of comfort zone dependency. We love to be in a safe space in terms of our thinking, in terms of our daily movements and activities, and in terms of our pursuit of happiness and career and all that. We say a lot of what we want to do and what we want out of life, but we be too scared to move on a lot of our own thoughts. We be scared, man, because of that comfort zone. In the comfort zone, you're not always happy in it, and it ain't always comfortable. It's just in your mind, you view it to be safe. It ain't nothing wrong with being safe, but don't talk about you want to do something big in your life, and you tiptoeing through life. I ain't saying be a crash dummy. I ain't saying do nothing extreme or crazy, but I'm saying that big things, big results require big moves. So the fear of failing, the fear of people going, you tried that? The fear of that is what makes us pull back. But it's more so worried about what other people are going to say. That's one of the biggest deterrents that we have as people, is that we steady worried about what other people are going to say. But there's always people that come along that give examples of courage that really is for you to look at and say, well, man, look what he did. And we don't get the lessons out of what somebody else does because we're looking at what we perceive as being a failed attempt, right? So Michael Jordan plays all those years in the NBA. He retires in 98. Then 3 years later, he comes back and plays for the Wizards. He's all fat, got a gut, 39, 40 years old, bad knees, smoking cigars all the time, can't really move like he used to move, but he still, love him or hate him, he still had the courage to say, well, man, this is what I want to do. I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it a shot. And put the fear of failing to the side. And had some great moments. Show flashes. Said earlier, George Foreman came back in his late 30s, going into his 40s, ended up being a world champ again in his 40s. Dismissed all of the people who said, man, you crazy, man. You gonna get hurt. You put the fear to the side and go for your goal. And you put the fear of what people gonna say to the side. So when this dude asking Venus Williams, basically, oh, don't you think it's time to retire? That's basically what he was saying in the question. Regardless of what we think, regardless of what she thinks, he thinks, if she got it in her heart to want to keep playing tennis, she got every right to do that. Can't nobody force you out of what you love to do unless you allow them to make you second guess yourself. We got the Jazz. We got Greek in the building, y'all. Wonder if his kids made him some grits and eggs while he was there. That's important. See? Hold on. Let me catch up, man. Let me catch up. Let me catch up and see what y'all talking about. See, we give up too easy, man. Michael Frank said you only owe when you stop moving. And you only owe when your mind stops trying to create new ways to succeed. See, when you just give up and just like, oh man, okay, now you officially are transitioning into that age. You know, you got to always have ideas and dreams and visions and goals and plans and purpose. You got to always have that. Remember the song I did called Holler at Me? See how many of y'all really listen to my music. I said when you stop chasing your dreams, what I said after that on that song. I said when you stop chasing your dreams, what's the back end of that? Nah, y'all don't know the song. Y'all don't know the song. Nah, y'all guessing. I didn't say guess what I said on the song. Nah, man. Hey, give up, y'all. Give up. It's all right. Give up. Don't do that. I said when you stop chasing your dreams, that's when you stop living. That's when you stop living. Because you have nothing else to live for in your mind. You think that. And I don't care how many times that you failed. I've known some people in my life, they made mistake after mistake, right? But they come back with a fresh mind, like they didn't even make the same mistakes or make different mistakes. You gotta have a short memory. It's like a 3-point shooter, man. He missed his last 15 threes. If you allow that to mentally hinder you, now you catch the ball wide open and you scared to shoot the next 3. because you're thinking about how many you missed instead of saying, shh, I missed this many. See, it's two ways to think. You could think about how many times that it didn't work, and that makes you scared to keep trying to make it work. Or you can think about how many times it didn't work and say, well, you know what? That means I'm getting closer. That means I'm getting closer. Torrance got it. Thought y'all listen to my music, man. Y'all don't listen to my music, man. So if it's something you love to do, because you know what's crazy about that whole thought process? We would let people talk us out of doing something that we love to do, all the while continuing to do something that we hate doing every day. Now think about how backwards that is. So you getting up going to work at Brown and Root every day. You getting up working, and somebody tell you, hey, that's a good steady job, son. You can stay on this job for 40 years, son. But you hate it. This is what you should be doing. But then if you say, well, you know what, I got this idea. I'm thinking about trying to do. Man, come on, man. Don't be ridiculous, man. That's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. So you gonna give up this job making $8.25? You gonna give up this good solid job? Okay, maybe not $8. Make it a little bit more than that. But my point is, how can you let somebody talk you out of doing something that you want to do, and they're pushing you to keep doing something or to do something that you don't want to do? So you can't let a person with no vision dictate your vision. Just made that up. Never let a person with no vision control your vision. Don't steal that. I'm gonna put it on a t-shirt. Mike said change is one of the most difficult things that we face, but change is inevitable. And change is inevitable. But if we understand, we know that we are the ones in control of our change. See, change is inevitable, but it's also controllable. You don't have to be necessarily at the mercy of a change that you have no power over. So the only way that you will be at the mercy of change is if you're not in power over your own change. You got to sit down and go, all right, man, I ain't gonna be doing this time next month, next year. I'm finna figure. I'm finna make something shake, bro. And we do it anyway. We just sometimes do it the wrong way. We sit around broke. Some people start strategizing other things. Somebody might sit around broke and say, I'm gonna go rob a bank. We hit this Brinks truck. I made a change though. Man. Hey man, look, let me say this to y'all real quick so y'all know. See, I did open topic last night. Did we have a topic tonight? So I'm not answering any questions that are not about this topic that we on tonight. I'm not talking about nothing that's way out of the realm of what we own tonight. Y'all should have been on here last night. Y'all could have asked me about how to make Toll House cookies last night. And I would have had an answer. Y'all could have asked me about both Lionels on the Jeffersons. We could have talked about it because it was open topic. See? We're not doing that tonight. Rich says, stay open for better opportunities. JD, we're going to put that on a shirt, man. Never let a person with no vision control your vision. Yeah. So this goes out to y'all just for understanding. Because we all going to be confronted with this, or we have already been at some point. Because you got people that whisper in your ear. And not just when you're older, when you're young. Because I tell y'all this all the time, there are people who they see your potential better than you see it sometimes. And they become threatened by it. So they try to talk you out of your greatness. Oh man, man, you waste your time, man. I just went down there and got hired at Western Auto, man. Y'all, I can get you on, bro. I can get you on, man. They need one more person, man. And you go, so you guarantee get me on? Yeah, I'm telling you, man. And now you done let somebody talk. Man, now you working at Western Auto for the next 27 years. If writing in cursive is a thing of the past, so can filling out an application be also. You gonna put that on a t-shirt? Yeah, exactly. It's real words. Hey man, look. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to be able to do what you want to do. But filling out an application and working on somebody, that should the mindset that should always be, this is just a pit stop. I'm just here for a little while till I can get my thing going. Yeah. With a little self-application, you won't have to fill out a job application. Dark Myth says most people don't have their beliefs solidified in thought and spirit. That's true. That's true. Because we go into abort mode at the very conception of the idea. Soon as you come up with the idea, it's two forces inside of you. The one force comes with the idea, like, man, you know what? You could do this. Then no sooner as that force says that, the other force goes, you can't really do that. You go, and it's by who you listen to, you go. And most of the time, we listen to the one that say you can't really do that. Yeah, you know what, you right, man. He right, man. See? Then guess what happens? You look up and you see somebody else come along and did the same thing you was planning on doing, and it worked. You watching Shark Tank or something. Somebody did your idea. And Mark Cuban gave $1 million. I believe energy just bounces like that. Those ideas come in your head and it's like this, he ain't gonna use me. Let me go to somebody else's head. That's why I always write down when I got ideas for songs and when I get lyrics in my head, I always write them down. Because I don't want to hear a thought I came up with come out of some other rapper's mouth 3 months from now. And they didn't even take it from me. It just that idea, man, it's competitive out here. So something you thought of, trust me, somebody else is thinking of some variation of something real similar to it. You got to respect the creative process. If you don't respect it, it ain't gonna respect you. Rebecca Wright says, I definitely think something is going on. The vibe and everything is off for the past few years. Well, I mean, it's something going on, but speaking more just as for individuals, we got to be more rooted and more forceful in what we're trying to be and do in life, man. Trinidad is in the building. Justin Dub, I see you. Rich Castle says, if you don't, someone else will. That's the most painful thing, man. Coming up with an idea that you were scared to move on and then see somebody else do it and it's popping off. Now you looking like a fool because, man, you remember when I came? I said that same thing back in 2018. You remember? You want credit for coming up with something that you didn't do. Because I'll be like, yeah, I remember you said that. Why you ain't do it? Should have did it. Now this dude making millions. Yeah. Dearius Williams, where you been? You say, good to see I'm still doing my live stream. Yeah, I never stopped. You must have came up missing. Much love to all of y'all. It's a time to go, man. But as long as you performing at a high level or something and you happy doing it, don't let nobody force you out, man. Because if you let them force you out, now you at home with nothing to do. And what are they getting out of forcing you out? What are they getting out of? See? I made him quit. I made her talk. I made her stop. I'm still reading what y'all got to say. Maybe we'll shut it down early. Y'all ain't fitting this topic tonight. Lester Smith said Nolan Ryan threw a no-hitter when he was 44. That's a good point. Bro, it ain't about the age. It's about the ability, man. Your ability, your willingness to keep getting better. Come on, man. I'm sure there were people. Look. I know Greek I hate to say this, but and then I know Greek is watching and listening. I gotta use Tom Brady as an example. How old was Tom Brady when he won that last Super Bowl he won with Tampa Bay? He had to be in his 40s. The man played so long that it ended his marriage. The man played so long, the man did not want to even be married no more. The man was married to the game. He was married to football. And he retired and came back the next. He retired and unretired in the same month. because he still felt like he had something to give to the game. And obviously he did, because he won another Super Bowl. And he might have played another 2 years after that one. And finally, the wife was like, look at man, this dude gonna play till he's 69. But one of the toughest things, man, is when you are immersed into something that you love and the people around you don't understand. See, music is one of those kind of fields where you have to have, or really anything, man. If it's something you love to do, you got to have people around you that understand. Understand what? They understand that, hey, man, I'm going to spend a lot of time and hours doing what I'm doing, which means there's going to be some time and hours that you don't get. There's going to be some days where you want to go and do this, and I'm going to stay here because I got to do this. Because people are not in their mindset. People are not always in their mind frame. They're like, I just want to go to the park and have a picnic. And you like, I ain't got time to go to the park and have a picnic because I'm trying to put this plan in motion so we can own a park. And people will say in the beginning, oh yeah, I understand. Yeah, hey, that's your grind, that's your work, that's your profession. Yeah, I would never stand in the way. And once they got to actually show that, it ain't just women who do it too. Some of y'all dudes be real soft and sensitive. Well, when you gonna have time to spend with me? And she like, hey, I have work to do. I have things to do. I have priorities. I thought you was gonna cook. Hey man, you have to know people coming in and not say things that you don't really represent. So if you a clingy, attention-seeking type of person, I always want somebody to be up, time consuming person, you need to say that. Let the person know, hey, look, I like to spend a lot of time with the person I'm with. Then they can go, oh, okay, well, I can't guarantee that because I'm working on this project, and I ain't gonna lie, I've been working on this for 5 years, and I'm not a fan of the sports analyst Skip Bayless. I'm not a big fan. I don't really like Skip Bayless. But having said that, I'm gonna quote something that I heard. I think it was Shannon Sharp. He was interviewing Stephen A. Smith, or somebody else might have said. But no, that might have made up. But what he said, he's been with his wife for like decades and decades, Skip Bayless. But they said that when he first got with his wife, they said he told his wife when they were first meeting, like in the dating stage, like one of the keys to being with me is knowing that you will never be more important than my job. Say he told his future wife that. And she married him anyway. Why? Because over time they still together, which means she was built for it. See, we'll say we understand, and I get that. Yeah, I feel you. And we were, I be doing my thing too. That's the first thing we'll say to somebody when they hit us with that. Well, look, I work. Hey, I have goals. I got stuff I'm trying to accomplish. I don't need nobody that's gonna be clingy, whine. And you be like, oh no, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I got stuff I need to do. I'll be doing too. And 3 months in, you still never have time for me. You never have time for me. Wait a minute now. But on the same token, if you are that kind of person that's grinding like that, then you don't need to commit to nobody too like that also, because they're gonna be neglected in this. It goes both ways. It goes both ways. But just being straight up is because if you straight up, at least you can come back later and say, hey man, I did not tell you. Don't act like this is a surprise. I'm in the studio. Studio. Whoa. Terry Funk. Man, this boy done mentioned Terry Funk. See, look at the pro wrestling legend Terry Funk. That man wrestled for 50 years, wrestling like young guy in his 20s. And at the age of 53 years old, he was still doing moonsaults from the top rope. Man, I remember Terry Funk. But that goes back to what I said earlier. As long as you have the ability to do whatever you love to do, as long as you have the ability to do it on a respectable to high level, ain't nothing wrong with it. Now, if Terry Funk was coming all out there all decrepit and couldn't even, it's like, come on, man. Nobody want to see that, man. See? I see the homie Big Op is in the building. Terry Funk, man. Boom, bapping, no trapping. Hey, man, thank you, man. Man, I be needing some help, man. Boom Bapping says, let's not get off the topic. I like this topic. Thank you, man. So Waji Muhammad is in here. One of the most regretful things you would ever do in your life is let somebody run you off your dream, man. Well, maybe you're right. Yeah, you probably right. I shouldn't do that. That's not gonna work. Yeah, let me go down. And they did say they were looking for cooks. They need some cooks at Golden Corral. They did say that, huh? I'm gonna go down there and see what they're talking about. No, good and well, that ain't what you want to do. Come on, man. Random Land says we need to own our own community as men. Part of doing that is sharing and giving that seed of production. Yeah. And part of doing that again is encouraging our young people from a very young age to taking that ceiling off of their thinking in terms of what they can accomplish. You got to rip the roof off that ceiling of accomplishment that's been placed on them by society, to where it's like telling them things that they can't do. You got to instill in young people from the womb. You got to be talking to them in the belly, straight up. I'm not joking. The ears are developed at some point. The brain is the first thing that forms. It's developed. You talk to that baby when the baby's in the womb, tell them how great they're going to be. Instill confidence in them. Some of us need to go back into the womb and get talked to. Oh, man. Terry Funk. I'm going to mention the Fabulous Freebirds in here in a minute. Nocturnal says you also need to listen sometimes. Yeah, we touched on that earlier. Sometimes there's some things in life where we have to listen to that voice or that person that's telling you, hey man, enough is enough, because of what is being seen and shown visually. See, I'm not talking, like I said, if you a boxer and you getting a snot beat out of you all the time and you just steady, it's like somebody got to be the voice saying, man, you need to sit down, man. Let it go, man. Stop, bro. You're going to kill yourself in there. I'm speaking of, that's why I keep mentioning saying, as long as you have the ability to do, and it's not something that is a danger to you. Because that, like I said, that reporter was trying to tell Venus Williams basically in so many words, she need to retire. Who are you, Mr. Reporter, to tell Venus Williams? This one all-time great. She can go on her own terms. She can go when she want to go, no matter what you think. Who are you? Nobody knows you. It's an insulting question. Some people say, well, that's a fair. No, it's not a fair question. Not to me. Big Ott says, I have family like that. Had to cut them off. Yeah, and that's a sad one. Because sometimes family will, you got haters in your family. You got people who are hating. That's why they're telling you you can't do this or not to do it. Then you got people in the family, they just, they just feel like, they worry too much. I just don't want you to get out there and not be able to do it or embarrass yourself or make sense. Hey man, let me worry about that. Let me worry about that. I'm a big boy. She's a big girl. It's going to be all right. But you'll never find out what you can be if you don't try to be it. The only time in life that I would ever get upset about not getting a girl's phone number, you try to holler at a female, fellas. The only time I'm upset about not getting the girl's phone number is when I didn't ask, when I didn't even try to get it. Not even trying is worse than trying and failing, to me. Not even trying because you was fearful of rejection. That's worse. Because if you get rejected, well, at least you know. Yeah, at least you tried. If you don't try, then you in mystery land. Like, I wonder if she would have gave me her number. Well, you'll never know, dummy. Michael P.S. Hayes. Hey, man, what did the P.S. stand for? What did the P.S. stand for, Michael P.S. Hayes, man? Where my wrestling fans at? Oh, my God. Most blacks think we got to work for the white man for life. We got to follow purpose. That's right. We don't have to work for the white man for life. We have to get down for the crown. Oh man, we are living in a society that's collapsing. This economy is collapsing. America ain't got jobs for itself. We would be wise to build our own. Lindsay says, yeah, just stay away from BS. That's simple. That's simple. Okay. All right. Hey, man, y'all drop y'all locations, man. What's up, Toby Montgomery? Young Star Mills. Young Star Mills said, I only love my family from a distance. It's sad that it comes to that sometimes for certain people in certain situations and certain families, man. But, you know, the key word you still got in there is love, you know. In some way, and sometimes the best way for you to stay with somebody is to keep away from them. We shout y'all out, man. Rich Castile is in Bryan, Texas. Nocturnal is out there in Rochester, New York. Boom Bappin' No Trapping in LA. JD in Fort Worth. Erico Bittencourt is in Kansas City. Yeah, man. Junkyard Dog. Tiger Conway Jr. Coco Beware. Tully Blanchard. The Great Kabuki. Tony Atlas. Zawaji. What's going on, my brother? KS is in Temple. Rebecca Wright is in Michigan. Yeah. The Real Hungry Joe out there in A-Leaf. I know my boy Big Ock is in the South Bronx. Les Smith, Show Low. Taekwon Gong in Kansas City. Hey, y'all putting all these wrestlers out. Leaping Lanny Poffo face. You get your Leaping Lanny Poffo face. Jared is out there in West Phoenix. Sean Lopes is in Massachusetts. Jim the Anvil Neidhart. You get your Bruiser Brody looking. Yeah, Jim the Anvil Neidhart. I bet y'all don't know about Tim Horner. I bet y'all don't know about Tim Horner and Joshua Stroud. Spikey out there in Huntington Park, California. Hey man, where the K-Rino heads at in Kansas City? Erica, how many of them? Because you know we'll come. If I find a city that I know the people gonna come out, all I need is a venue. So are you sure? Because I'll come to Kansas City. Baby Jokers in Minnesota. The Iron Sheik. The Iron Sheik, man, just passed away. I think this year. Is that Louis in New Jerusalem? New Jerusalem. Greg Val. Hey, I just thought of some of these wrestlers, man. Boy. You can't name no mainstream wrestlers, Jared. You can't be naming Hulk Hogan. We got to go into the archives. Y'all remember Coco Beware used to have that parrot? Come on, man. Ravishing Rick Rude face. Appreciate the love, Toby. Lindsay says she didn't know I had a sense of humor. Really? Come on, Lindsay. You thought I was just a robot? I just be. I am K-Rino. Hey, man, I forgot to do this tonight. Y'all go subscribe to my channel, the Underground Dialogue Podcast, if you haven't already. Even if you have, man, go and catch up on some episodes. Because I know for a fact y'all ain't watching it. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Oh, that's a good one, man. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Come on, man. Ric Flair's my favorite wrestler of all time, man. Jerry Lawler. Ooh, that boy say Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, man. Magnum TA. Magnum Terry Allen. Terry Allen, man. Oh my gosh, man. Okay, well, let me ask you this here, JD. Is it Hacksaw Jim Duggan, or is it Hacksaw Jim Dugan? Is it Dugan or Duggan? Let me see if you really know. Who that boy say Blackjack Mulligan? Oh, man. Hey, y'all don't know nothing about the natural Butch Reed. Y'all don't know nothing about Butch Reed, man. And y'all don't know about Brickhouse Brown either. Yeah. Brickhouse Brown. I'll see your Billy Graham and raise you a Brickhouse Brown. Ravishing Rick Rude. Oh man, come on, man. Look, we thought Kamala was African all them years. Kamala was from Mississippi. Oh man. Who else I forget, man? Dusty Rhodes. Yeah, Andre the Giant. These are all the mainstream guys, man. How we get, man? Let me get out of here, man. The American Dream. See, I remember he was the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. He was the natural Dusty Rhodes. Yeah. Y'all showing y'all age. Bet y'all don't know about Skandar Akbar. Yeah. Yeah. How many of y'all know about Skandar Akbar? Well, baby Joker, that Maui fire, man, that's just, Hawaii's part of America. And we witnessing the fall of America, man. So even those islands, even those parts that are disconnected, you can't escape it, man. Booker T. Them boys straight out the H. Skandar Akbar. All right, man. Y'all keep in mind everything I said. And we had a little fun at the end. But if you got something on your mind, bro, if you got a dream, something in your heart you want to do, don't let your own self-doubt stop it. At least try it. At least go for it, y'all. That's all I'm saying, man. You just never know. You don't know, man. Don't say what you can't do if you never tried to do it. Plain and simple. All right, man. Once again, y'all go subscribe to the podcast. How many of y'all gonna go subscribe tonight and watch an episode if you don't have to get up in the morning? Who's gonna watch an episode tonight? Who will make that pledge? Don't cost you no money. It don't cost you a dime, man. Appreciate the sub. Now I need you to go watch an episode. Straight up. The boy say Larry Zabisco. Man, let me get out of here, man. All right, I'll catch y'all later on, man. Peace. It's on YouTube.